The good news about Cleo Smith's rescue yesterday has prompted plenty more questions about just what happened. Bond University's Dr. Terry Goldsworthy has had 30 years' experience in criminology, and he joins us now from the Gold Coast to provide some insights into those gruelling 18 days following Cleo's abduction. Terry, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks for being with us. What was your reaction when you heard the news that she was safe and well?
Yeah, look, I was quite surprised. I mean, I guess I, like many other people, thought the longer the matter went on, the more likely there was going to be a negative outcome. So it was a pleasant surprise, and I think a real testament to what you can do with an investigation if you resource it properly and you get into it early on.
Yeah. Terry, how significant was the $1 million reward? I mean, I'm hearing conflicting opinions. Is it likely to be claimed?
Look, as in terms of it getting claimed, would depend how pivotal the information provided by the person was in terms of leading to the arrest. So that'll be something that the police will have to decide later. I mean, if you put a reward out there and someone wants to claim it and they've given you the information, I think you need to pay it. I mean, otherwise it undermines what rewards are for. In terms of the effect on the investigation, I think the reward was put out quite early, 3 days in, I think, and that's the reverse of what we usually do with rewards in these type of investigations. Usually they come out at the end of the traditional investigation when everything's exhausted. You've got no further avenues of inquiry and you need to generate information, and that's when we usually run a reward out to generate that information. The fact it was done so early, I think wasn't a bad technique, actually. It probably put a lot of pressure on the person who took the child.
Absolutely. Can you walk us through what you understand led to her rescue? There were lots of little clues we're hearing.
Yeah, look, they haven't been too specific, I mean, in terms of what the breakthrough information was, but obviously I suspect they got a hot tip at the night, during the night there, and they acted immediately. I mean, when you're doing these types of jobs, if you're going to go and execute search warrants, you've got two competing things. One is the obtaining of evidence and making sure that's going to be usable in court. In this case, you also have to look after the issue of the safety of the child, which is paramount. So as soon as they had an idea where the child was, they would have had to act. In terms of information, I mean, I guess they're moving from a low information state to a high information state. So by that, I mean they turn up at the scene and there's a child missing. The other problem they had is, was it a missing person or was it a criminal event? And they transitioned very quickly, I think, to saying that this was going to be a criminal event they're looking at. And the resources put in certainly would have assisted the outcome that we saw yesterday in terms of having 140 police available out there.
Yep.
WA Premier Mark McGowan made a big mention of the analysts working behind the scenes, looking at social media and that type of thing on this investigation. How significant do you think social media was in this investigation?
Well, I'm not sure about social media. I mean, it would have helped, no doubt, but I think in a broader sense, our electronic footprints, we all leave electronic footprints these days. It's almost impossible not to. And, that's a passive footprint and an active one. So passive is where your phone is bouncing off towers, triangulating as you drive along. It hits a different tower every couple of kilometres. Active is where, as you said, you're posting on social media and you're tagging where you are. So I suspect they would have done tower dumps, which is where they just would have downloaded all of the phones in that area at that point in time and worked through them slowly. They would have been trying to match those phones to individuals and then also looking at their social media accounts, seeing what is there. The benefit they had, I think, is that this was a remote location, so the suspect pool was quite small.
Yeah. They've got a 36-year-old man in custody right now. No one's been charged yet, so obviously we don't know anything about motive. She is uninjured, what we've heard. So what could the motive have been?
Look, there's several different types of motives when you look at child abductions in general, and they are things like custody disputes. You can have a ransom. Someone takes the child to obtain a benefit from the parents. There's obviously a sexual aspect to motivations, and other things that could be in there is, simply, taking the child and robbing them. I mean, I don't think that's an issue here. So that is a perplexing thing. I mean, we've heard some kind of comments from the police that there's no element of sexuality to this offence at this stage. So it's interesting to see what the motive is going to come out as.
Yeah. We saw the officers meet Cleo, how gentle they were with her. would police have questioned little Cleo yet? I mean, obviously, there must be a different way of questioning children. What skills do you need to avoid traumatising a child even more in situations like this?
Yes, the way you question a child is certainly different to an adult. I think when they got the child, they would have medical checks would have been the first thing to make sure she was healthy. There would probably also be checks to make sure that there has been no assault of any type take place. In terms of interviewing her and getting the story, they'll no doubt get some child protection officers in, I would think. And those officers, at least in Queensland, I imagine everywhere else, are specially trained to communicate with children in a very open manner. So you don't want to be asking closed questions or sitting at a proper interview room. So when I was running a child protection unit in Gold Coast here, we had what we call a lookalike room. So the interview is being recorded behind a double-faced mirror, and it was just a lounge with some toys and that, and the investigators would allow the child to tell the story. So that's what would be going on there, I would think.
You're a former detective inspector yourself. What did you make of the W Police's incredible investigation and search and rescue mission of little Cleo Smith? It was just extraordinary for us lay people to watch, but your colleagues on the other side of the country, what did you make of it?
I thought it was very thorough, and, you know, they did some really good investigative techniques. They used the media, as you should in those investigations. The media is a great investigative tool. They certainly use that to apply pressure. The early use of the reward, all of those things put pressure on the suspect. Now, he hasn't been able to move that child in 19 days, and I put that down solely to the way the police conducted the investigation. We talk about the golden hour in homicides, where you've got a limited time period before the scene is lost and you lose crucial evidence. I think the fact that they very quickly moved into this being a criminal event and obtained all that evidence, the CCTV, the phone records, all that type of stuff, will bode well when it comes to court, and also would have assisted greatly in locating the child.
Yeah, absolutely. Terry Goldsworthy, we appreciate your time and your insights. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.